Hello, I'm John and welcome to my YouTube channel, John's Box. Witam, nazywam się John. Witam na kanale John w Polsce. Pozostała część w języku angielskim. So, to another edition of English just for you. This is the April edition now, where we look at 5 sentences which contain language mistakes. And of course, each time I'll tell you what the correct sentence or how the correct sentence should read. We don't have the benefit of video edits, so I'll place them in the video description, the actual correct versions of the sentence. Without further ado, by the way, after we finished reviewing the 5 sentences for this month, there'll also be another edition of John's random questions, which we kicked off a few weeks ago. More about that in a moment. So the first sentence, he promises do, this shouldn't be here, he promises do his homework. So promise and do are 2 verbs, and the verb pattern for a lot of verbs is the base verb, infinitive, the verb promise with to plus infinitive, promise to do. Therefore, the sentence should read, so you promise to do something, he promises to do his homework. That's the correct one. We'll now move on to sentence number 2. Sentence number 2, which is, the car is her. She is the car? No. You could say, alternatively, the possessive with the object. This is her car, but without the object, the object pronoun will be hers. This is her, this car is hers, this car is his, this car is theirs, this car is mine, and so on and so forth. That's sentence number 2. We'll now move on to sentence number 3. Sentence number 3, which is, what is the biggest country in the world? Well, yep, it all sounds perfectly good, and it is when you hear somebody saying it. However, when we see the writing, there is a mistake in the comparative of big. If you have consonant, vowel, consonant, you double the last letter. Therefore, it should be a double G. What is the biggest country in the world? And the answer to that is Russia by size and India by population. That's sentence number 3. Sentence number 4. I didn't wrote to him yesterday. I didn't wrote to him yesterday. Now, when we use a did or a didn't, the verb, the base verb, the infinitive, remains in its base form, the infinitive. Therefore, the sentence should read, I didn't write to him yesterday, as opposed to the affirmative, I wrote to him yesterday. That's sentence number 4. We'll now move on to the final sentence. The final sentence, which reads, Robert is in the hospital. He broke his arm yesterday. Just one mistake here. If we use the article the hospital, then we're referring to a particular building in a particular place. It's specific. If we're referring to the institute, as we are referring in this particular case, we can guess, then the noun doesn't take the article. Therefore, the sentence should read, Robert is in hospital. He broke his arm yesterday, or because he broke his arm yesterday, if you want to make it into one sentence. That's the final sentence, number 5. So there you have it. We'll now move on to the section of John's random questions. John's random questions, which, as I mentioned, I started a few weeks ago. Here we have a whole host of questions in this random question box, which over the years my students have contributed to. they're not always grammatically written, these questions, and what I'll aim to do is to correct them, not only to answer those questions but also to correct them. So first question there is this one from 2015. I know who it's from actually. It's one of my ex-students who was really into Star Wars. And the question is, what do you think about new Star Wars trailer, The Force Awakens TFA? Yeah, I actually went to see the film The Force Awakens. I'm not really into Star Wars. I'm in no way a fan. I remember as a kid the original Star Wars. I don't want to show my age, but what do I think of it? Well, I don't even remember it, to be honest with you. I don't even remember much about the film itself. What do you think? Okay, let's move on to the next random question that I'm going to select. Let's dig deep, and it's this one. Actually, we've got two. I've chosen two at once. So this one's from 2020. Oh. Very simple, basic question. What's your favourite sport? Well, actively, I go running. So obviously that's my favourite to do and my favourite to watch. I don't really watch much sport nowadays. It's quite time consuming. If you want to watch a football match, you need to, a live football match, you need to dedicate 2 hours of your time. I rather watch highlights. Football, I would say, is the most interesting one to watch for me, followed by athletics. Third question then. There's no year here. Did you go in New York in this year? I think, there you go. Did you go to New York this year? Or have you been to New York, you could say. No, I've never been to New York. I have been to the United States. I've been to Washington, D.C., the capital of the United States. There was a proposal by my host to go to New York, but it would have meant a much longer journey from where they lived in Pennsylvania, and I thought maybe Washington, D.C. is more attractive. Maybe one day I'll go to New York. It's not on my bucket list, actually. If I never go, then so be it. I do believe it's there, and maybe, who knows? Who knows? Okay, so how many questions have we had? That's 3 or 4? 3. So 2 more questions. I'll choose at random. This one, there's again no year to this one. What is your favourite film? There are a few films which I really enjoy watching. Rather, they're all relatively old. I can't say that I have a favourite film. There are films that I've watched time and time again. You know, I like rather light films, comedy, not films where you have to think too much, where you have to use your noodle or brain to work out whatever. Those are the sort of films I like watching, but I don't think I have a favourite film to answer that question. Final question then. Let's dig deep. Again, the question: Do you prefer Apple or Samsung phones? Yeah. Well, let's say iOS or Android systems. I would say I've always had Android most of the time. I once had a Nokia smartphone, and that was using a Windows software. My first ever smartphone actually was an Apple. It was an iPod. It was the first one ever. Back in 2009 or 2010. Unfortunately, I damaged it. That's all I can say. Currently, I'm using a Xiaomi. Is that how you say it? Xiaomi. I can't even say it. A Readme phone, which I'm recording this video on. So that's the answer to that question. Yes, this has taken about 10 minutes all told, including the English Just For You part. Please support my channel. If you want to find out more about the sentences we featured, maybe from an analytical point of view, please be sure to make a comment, or just comment anyway, whether you like the video or not. It always adds to the content. Okay, I shall be back again for another edition of English Just For You, featuring another 5 language mistakes, plus 5 random questions from the box. That's it for today. Thank you very much, and see you in another video. Bye for now.